1688 Death of an Era? 1688 Death of an Era. When the Lady of Brahma's pure sky arrived at the imperial city of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty, the war had already been going on for a long time. She stood far above the sky, looking at the battlefield. The entire palace had been turned into a ruin, with many from the Heavenly Mandate dynasty buried underneath. Some were of the Renhuang existence. The entire imperial city was permeated with a terrible storm of the Great Path. There were battles taking place in different places, and there were also Renhuang figures who had fallen. A quarter of the buildings in this most prosperous main city of Heavenly Mandate realm were destroyed, with cracks appearing on the ground. What was before everyone's eyes could no longer be discerned as a place that was once the most prosperous place in all of the Heavenly Mandate realm. The collapse of a dynasty. Even though she was an empress at the peak of her power, the Lady of Brahma's pure sky was still not at peace. She gazed at the white-haired figure who was standing above the palace. Had it really been destroyed for good? Of course, she could also see the battlefield where the overlord of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty was located. At this time, the overlord was hit with another violent impact. The punch from the Dragon Master that could break apart space blasted on the armor that he was wearing. A mouthful of blood came out of his mouth, and the overlord of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty was already very weak at this moment. Encircled and suppressed by 3 people of the same level power, he could not keep fighting for much longer. But he couldn't leave now even if he wanted to. If it weren't for the 3 great cultivators who were being overly cautious and choosing not to take too much risk, perhaps the battle would have ended already. However, because they were so sure of their victory, they were in no hurry. They chose to consume the energy of the other until death so that none of the 3 were injured. There were also Renhuang, who took action against Futian. Renhuang who were lower in rank were not stopped by anyone but were allowed to be obliterated by Futian and the others. Only those of the Divine Wheel 5th Order or above were stopped by the others. If Renhuang who were positioned higher above unleashed their attack remotely, Futian and the others would enter the spatial divine implement. They didn't leave him with even a glimmer of hope or opportunity. Retreat. The 3 cultivators from Golden Divine Nation knew that no more could not be done today. It was not their time to kill Futian. If they persisted, it was highly likely that they would also end up dying here. The Divine Elephant Emperor stepped forward, wanting to chase them down, but Futian merely said, "Let them go." Only then did the God Elephant Emperor's footsteps stop, and 3 arcs of golden divine lights sailed across the void and disappeared. The main target today was the Heavenly Mandate dynasty, and it was not so easy to detain the other party. Another reason was that they planned on destroying the Heavenly Mandate dynasty once and for all, but Golden Divine Nation was a different story. If the Divine Elephant Emperor had really dragged them into killing the top figures of the Golden Divine Nation, then the Overlord of Divine Nation would have an excuse to kill them in return. He didn't want to drag down his allies. "I'll go up and help," the Divine Elephant Emperor said. The overall situation had been determined, and now they just need to detain the overlord of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. Then this war would be completely over. However, he had not yet reached the battlefield when the fiery flames above the sky flooded the void. It was a golden sacred fire that burnt heaven and earth as a golden divine solar spear pierced through the armor worn by the overlord of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. In an instant, the infinite golden divine solar fire rushed into the other's body. Instantly, the overlord of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty turned into a man on fire, a divine general bathing in the divine fire, except that the divine fire was burning his body madly. Boom! The fireball dropped down from the sky, and someone else descended. The Dragon Master's purple gold divine fist blasted on his opponent's body, stopping the overlord's fall, and causing his body to tremble violently. As the bright celestial light bloomed, Jiang Qingzi added another blow. Numerous people in the imperial city raised their heads and looked there. They saw the master of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty falling down weakly from the sky above. With a loud bang, the body of the overlord was smashed into the ruins, with the 3 top figures landing at the same time, appearing in 3 different locations. Even at this moment, they were still guarding against his possible escape, displaying a degree of caution. There was a sound that came from the ruins as a figure climbed out from the inside and stood on top of it. His whole body was still radiant all over, even though he had almost nothing left. It seemed that he was still unable to let go of his dignity as the overlord of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. That brilliant divine light seemed to be burning up the last of his power. Those eyes looked past through the void toward Yi Futian, who was in the distance. He had never thought that he would fall into the hands of a youngster. Once upon a time, he had not even considered Yi Futian as an opponent for his son, Yi Tianyu. But the white-haired young man who had been standing there was the one who choreographed this battle and the destruction of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. How very sad was all this! Your Majesty! There were those from the Heavenly Mandate dynasty who were still alive, and they looked at the overlord who was standing there, feeling extremely sad. He suddenly smiled, somewhat ironically, and said, "I have stepped over Gu Tianxing, but not a youngster." However, Gu Tianxing still did not win. If it were not for you, I wouldn't necessarily lose. Gu Donglu was also at Yi Futian's side. He admitted that he had lost to Yi Futian, but he still did not admit that he had lost to Gu Tianxing. The one who defeated the Heavenly Mandate dynasty was not Gu Donglu. "It's just that time has moved up a little," said Yi Futian, expressionless and looking at the overlord of Heavenly Mandate dynasty. Without him, the third senior brother would not show up so quickly, so he would bear it and cultivate until one day he could set foot on the heavenly god realm under his own power. Actually, the battle between third senior brother and Yi Tianyu had proven many things. Let me understand it before I die. How did you persuade them? The overlord of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty looked at Yi Futian, and then at the top figures of the three major demonic clans. Giants of the three major demonic clans would rather take orders from a youngster? At this moment, he still felt all this was extremely absurd. He didn't understand why he had lost. Why did war erupt between the celestial gate of vast heaven and Heavenly Mandate dynasty? Yi Futian asked. Gu Tianxing was too domineering, the other responded. Because Gu Tianxing was too strong, the Heavenly Mandate dynasty felt threatened. It was not because he was too domineering, but because the Heavenly Mandate dynasty would not allow him to have the same kind of overbearing existence as themselves. Is this correct? Yi Futian asked. Yes, the overlord explained. The Heavenly Mandate dynasty is powerful, so you would never allow another to be stronger than yourself. Any force that threatens the position of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty is not allowed to exist, isn't that right? So, the Heavenly Mandate dynasty will always be the overlord of the Heavenly Mandate realm, but the upper limit of the Heavenly Mandate realm will always only be the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. Yi Futian sarcastically said, even without us, there would have been another Gu Tianxing. The destruction of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty was just a matter of time. You don't have the true strength to climb to the top, and yet prevented the others from crossing over. How could you not be destroyed? Yi Futian continued, after the destruction of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty, I will join forces with other principalities in this land to create an academy for the realm, to preach to the world so that all cultivators of this land would have the opportunity to become stronger and pursue the great path. I never thought about being the overlord of the Heavenly Mandate realm, nor did I want to command all the venerable figures of the Heavenly Mandate realm. That was the reason why they were willing to help me. The overlord of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty looked at that figure and was silent for a moment. Suddenly he smiled, a little presumptuously. He looked at those around him, the Dragon Master, the Golden Raven Demonic Lord, and the Divine Elephant Emperor, and said, "Do you believe him?" However, he found, sadly, that the three powerful cultivators just looked at him indifferently. His presumptuous voice, in the ears of the others, seemed to be just pathetic. He understood the expressions behind these eyes, and he discovered, sadly, that the three major demonic masters actually believed it all. They believed that Yi Futian could deliver. People are different from each other. The overlord of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty and Yi Futian were clearly different kinds of people. Perhaps, the emperor of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty could never understand Yi Futian, but everyone else did. The facts were in front of them that Yi Futian had allowed their progeny to cast the perfect divine wheel, and also promised to build the academy for preaching. If Yi Futian did not wish to see someone else become stronger than him and didn't want to look over his shoulders, he, Gu Donglu and the few others would have been the sole owners of the perfect divine wheels in Heavenly Mandate Realm, and he wouldn't have the idea of establishing the academy. Therefore, in this battle, they withheld their opinion by mutual understanding, and the master of 10,000 Divine Mountain was of the same mind. So he told the palace lord of Violet Heavenly Palace that Gu Tianxing was not the one who could lead them, but Yi Futian would be. You can die now. Yi Futian looked at the overlord, who was laughing wildly and then lost his voice. There was some pity in his eyes. The overlord understood the meaning in his eyes. As a dominant figure of the Heavenly Mandate Realm, Yi Futian was looking at him with pity in his eyes. He suddenly laughed again, arrogantly, as a terrifying divine light erupted from him. The extremely powerful way of killing directly slew toward Yi Futian, ignoring the space distance between them. Above him, the giant foot of the golden divine elephant stomped down, directly on top of his head. Boom! A dull sound came out, and the will of the way dissipated. The ruins were flattened by one stomp, and a huge pit appeared. In the distance, some from inside the imperial city of Heavenly Mandate Dynasty couldn't bear to look. After all, it was the emperor of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty, the giant who had commanded the Heavenly Mandate Realm for many years. Dying in such a miserable manner was a sad affair, to say the least. The Lady of Brahma's pure sky also trembled in her heart. Had that one single stomp killed him? She turned to walk away, but her heart was not at peace. She was thinking about Yi Futian's words and also thinking about the destruction of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty. Yi Futian also left. And what followed was naturally the clearing out of the battlefield. At sunset, everyone had already retreated. Some were still crying in the ruins, but more were looking at the ruins and tried to sort out a myriad of emotions. An era is over, someone whispered, which resonated with many others. The divine dynasty that had ruled the Heavenly Mandate Realm for countless years and dominated the central area of the realm for many more had been annihilated in a day. The era that belonged to the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty was now over. A new era will also begin, someone said, and everyone was looking at the speaker. The end of an era naturally meant the beginning of a new one. I will wait here for the establishment of the academy, the speaker whispered. Many people's eyes showed a fierce passion, which also expressed their heart's true desire. This ruin had buried the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty, but there would be a better era yet. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. 1689 Outcome. 1689 Outcome. This was indeed the end of an era, as the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty was not the only force that had been completely destroyed. The Violet Heavenly Palace, from which all the thunder in the world came from, had also encountered a horrific disaster. When Yi Futian and the others reached the Violet Heavenly Palace, the palace lord and the master of 10,000 Divine Mountain were no longer there. But the incomparably majestic palace had half collapsed. In addition, none of the cultivators seemed to be there. One of the greatest forces of the Heavenly Mandate Realm was now empty. Of course, there were still many people there, buried under the palace forever. Just as Yi Futian and the others arrived, two more figures descended and walked up to them. The two of them had frightful auras, and each carried top-level ritual implements. The palace lord has abandoned the Violet Heavenly Palace and fled, but the mountain is pursuing him, said one of them. Upon hearing the news, the palace lord of the Violet Heavenly Palace had struggled, but he had known that his force had ended. 3 great demon forces had allied against him, as well as the celestial gate of vast heaven. The Heavenly Mandate Dynasty could not bear it and had been destroyed. The cultivators of 10,000 Divine Mountain had descended upon the Violet Heavenly Palace, watching them. They could not just sit back and not fight. After the battle started, he had realized he could not handle the master of 10,000 Divine Mountain, and in the end, had not dared to delay. He had abandoned the Violet Heavenly Palace and fled. We left some people here, but the vast majority fled, continued the man who had come. These were the two strongest people in 10,000 Divine Mountain beside the Mountain Master, the only two who had divine wheels at the 8th tier. They also had powerful ritual implements. If they had not faced the Palace Lord of the Violet Heavenly Palace, there were probably no people who could have stood up to them. In a battle between top figures, numbers mattered little. Moreover, the hidden techniques of the Violet Heavenly Palace were far inferior to those of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. So, the two of them had not said that they had been able to defeat the cultivators of the Violet Heavenly Palace, but given the ritual implements they carried, they could not have been defeated. Once they had started fighting, the people of the Violet Heavenly Palace had started to flee. Yi Futian nodded. Farewell. He turned to those beside him and asked, "Can any of you track him based on his aura of the Great Path?" "I can," said a golden raven demon. "The two of them are probably fighting all along the way, so the aura of the Great Path must be very clear and easy to sense. I will go." Demonic clans were very sensitive towards auras, and the aura left behind by the battle between two top figures would be extremely powerful. It would be possible for him to follow it. "Thank you," said Yi Futian with a nod. It was definitely best that the golden raven demon go. He was the fastest. "If the others hide their auras as they flee, it will be difficult to track them," said a dragon master. "I understand. Elders, please use your divine senses to search through the area around the palace. The rest of you go out in different directions and try your luck. Why don't we just look for those who are mid- and upper-level Renuangs?" said Yi Futian. There were few people at those levels outside of the Violet Heavenly Palace, so it would be very easy to distinguish them. If they ran into one, it was highly likely they would be from the Violet Heavenly Palace. When people of lower levels lost themselves in a crowd, it would be impossible to find them. Said everyone, nodding. Many figures rose into the air, going off in different directions. "We will wait here. The Palace Lord of the Violet Heavenly Palace will not escape," said Yi Futian. One of the ritual implements he had given to 10,000 Divine Mountain was an item that increased speed. He had asked the Mountain Master of 10,000 Divine Mountain to stick close to the Palace Lord of the Violet Heavenly Palace. Yi Futian and the others landed on the Violet Heavenly Palace, standing outside the ruin. He remembered the first time he had come here for one of their banquets. At that time, he had defeated Zhang Yuan, a member of the Violet Heavenly Palace who had a supreme body of the Great Path. "Elder, there has been great enmity between the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven and the Heavenly Mandate dynasty for many generations. I leave the Heavenly Mandate dynasty in your hands, and the three demon clans will split the Violet Heavenly Palace between them, all right?" Yi Futian said to Hua Jiangshan, who was still standing guard beside him. Obviously, this was showing favor to the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, but the three demon clans understood. Yi Futian and they were very close, and in the battle between them and the Heavenly Mandate dynasty, they had been sorely pressed, suffering the worst losses. Now that things had turned, Yi Futian wanted to build them up again. "We will talk again when this is over," said Hua Jiangshan. Yi Futian nodded slightly. Several top figures were not there, so it was indeed a bit too early to speak of this. Time passed. They were not waiting for the Golden Raven Demon to return, but for the cultivators of the 8 great thunder methods to descend upon them. Of the 8 method masters, only one was missing, the Purple Underworld. But the other 7 all came. Obviously, the Purple Underworld knew their own limits. 7 Renuangs came to the Violet Heavenly Palace, looking up at Yi Futian and the others as they stood in the sky. They bowed slightly and said, "We have come here to ask your forgiveness." They had taken part in many different things and had thus wrought their own collapse. Yi Futian was just a junior, and he was at a lower level than them. However, he was famous and prestigious, and moreover, they could not clearly see what the current situation was. The Violet Heavenly Palace had been destroyed, and the Palace Lord had fled. They thought of fleeing as well, but for one thing, they did not want to abandon the foundations of everything they had created, and for another, who knew if Yi Futian had left people behind to deal with them? If he had, then they would never escape. Thus, they could only swallow their pride and come here to ask for forgiveness. Moreover, even if Yi Futian had not left people behind to deal with them, And even if they could escape, Yi Futian would eventually remember them and send people to kill them. There would be nowhere safe in the heavenly mandate realm. They could only flee to other realms. Yi Futian looked down and swept his indifferent gaze over all of them. There was no expression on his face, and he did not answer. Were they there back then? He asked Hua Jiangshan. Yes, said Hua Jiangshan with a nod. Elder Hua, Emperor Yi, we did not dare disobey the orders of the Violet Heavenly Palace, said one of them with a bow. He was distressed as he naturally remembered the grudge between them. As far as I know, you are not the Violet Heavenly Palace's vassals, said Yi Futian. We are not, but we all follow the Thunder methods. Although we are not direct vassals, we all understand that we cannot gainsay a single word that the Violet Heavenly Palace says, said the man sincerely. One more thing. Before we came here, we went to the Purple Underworld to invite them to come and beg for forgiveness. They refused, and so we put them down. They are under control now, and you may deal with them as you wish, said another Renhuang. A look of surprise came over Yi Futian's face. So it was not that the Emperor of the Purple Underworld knew his own limits. He had just not wanted to come. And so he had been killed? He looked at the figures below him. Clearly, one had to be fierce in order to cultivate up to that level. They had not even given the Emperor of the Purple Underworld a chance to speak. They had probably been afraid that he would drag them down with him, and so had cut him off. After all, the Emperor of the Purple Underworld was the one that Yi Futian had the deepest enmity toward. He had tried to kill him several times and had captured Gu Donglu. Yi Futian looked at Hua Jiangshan behind him and said, "You may decide, Elder." Really, his targets had just been the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty and the Violet Heavenly Palace. As for the followers of the 8 Great Thunder Methods, he had truly forgotten about them. But they had been afraid, and so had taken the initiative to come and apologize. "All right," said Hua Jiangshan with a nod. "In that case, execute them." The 7 cultivators' hearts twitched fiercely. "Elder! Master!" They looked up at Hua Jiangshan, eyes full of fear. "In that case, execute them." The words were so simple and spoken so lightly. And yet he wanted to kill them. "Will you do it yourself?" said Yi Futian. Since this was what Hua Jiangshan wanted, he had no objection. The world of cultivators was not a place for mercy. If the celestial gate of vast heaven had not fled in their divine formation, they would have been completely wiped out by these people. And now they came here asking for mercy? If these people could ask for mercy, anyone in the world of cultivators could. "They are not worthy," said Hua Jiangshan. "Kill them, but as for their factions, leave them be." The battle had been decided by the leaders, so the 8 of them needed to die. The others could be spared. "Yes, sir." A Renhuang from the celestial gate of vast heaven flashed over, soon descending upon the 7 men who had come to admit their guilt. They had put their lives in his hands. These Renhuangs seemed very vulnerable right now. One's level and one's power were always relative. Even legendary figures sometimes stood at the bottom and looked up at others. Of course, Yi Futian and the others were just the same. Except they currently stood at the peak of the world of cultivators. Afterward, more people returned, bringing with them a familiar figure. It was Zhan Yuan, the member of the Violet Heavenly Palace with a supreme body of the Great Path. Zhan Yuan would never have imagined that this day would come. Yi Futian stood above the Violet Heavenly Palace, holding his life in his hands. Cripple his ability to cultivate. Yi Futian did not pay too much attention to him, saying only the single sentence. It was as if in his eyes, Zhan Yuan was only worth that single sentence. After a while, the Mountain Master of 10,000 Divine Mountain and the Golden Raven Demon returned. The Mountain Master had been wounded, but not badly. His aura was not that stable, though. Yi Futian watched them as they came. The Mountain Master grinned and nodded at him, while the Golden Raven Demon said, "There's not even a skeleton left of him." "Farewell, elders," said Yi Futian, as if what they had told him had not affected him at all. But when he turned to look down at the Violet Heavenly Palace, there was something in his eyes. The Golden Raven Demon's words meant that yet another top figure was gone from the Heavenly Mandate realm. He waited for the other cultivators to return. Once they had killed some of the cultivators of the Violet Heavenly Palace, they began heading back. The three great demon clans returned to the demon realm, while the people of the celestial gate of vast heaven returned to Celestial City. The whole city came out to greet them in a glorious celebration. At the same time, these events sent waves throughout the heavenly mandate realm. Everyone was talking about them. In Brahma's pure sky, the Empress had been feeling a little uneasy the past few days. As for the demon realm, the Purple Rat Emperor was conflicted. He did not know what to do. As for Ingzhou Mountain, they were trembling. They wanted to go and admit their guilt, but the followers of the 8 Thunder Methods had shown them that this was not a good idea. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1690 Vizzy. Chapter 1690 Vizzy. The Purple Gold Rat clan was resplendent and magnificent. Since the Purple Gold Rat Emperor had reached the peak of his power and founded the clan, they liked to keep everything luxurious. Perhaps this was because they had once been used to living underground. Now, down in the golden earth, the Purple Gold Rat Emperor led a group of cultivators, preparing to set out for Celestial City in the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. Although there had been some enmity between them before, they had formed an alliance in the God's Relic. Futian had destroyed the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty and the Violet Heavenly Palace, but had not sent people to watch them. It seemed that they were not worth destroying. After thinking for a while, the Emperor decided to go and admit his guilt. He brought some of their treasures as well as the rat, who had once offended Futian in the mountains, to ask for forgiveness. The Purple Gold Rat Emperor was a figure capable of bending and stretching to accommodate. Moreover, today they were going to the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. If Futian would not forgive them, they could only fight to the death, trying to take Futian with them. "Let's go," said the Purple Gold Rat Emperor. Suddenly, beams of golden light shone out as they prepared to set out. Just at the moment they were about to leave, the Purple Gold Rat Emperor suddenly frowned. He felt that something was not right. Then his expression changed. Soon, several powerful demonic auras descended, as if they had come from a great distance. The Purple Gold Rat's expressions all changed. They looked up into the sky, where 4 cultivators appeared at the same time. 3 great demon masters were there, in addition to Jiangqingzi. At that moment, the Purple Gold Rat Emperor's heart froze. They were finished. This was the formation that had destroyed the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty. What did that alliance mean? Futian had never planned to let the Purple Gold Rat Emperor go. The head of the Wang clan had died at the Emperor's hands, so if he let them go, how could he maintain relations with the Wang clan? The Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven would not let them go either. Moreover, Futian was very aware of what was happening in the Purple Gold Rat clan. They had discussed how to destroy him if there was a change in the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. Boom! Without any words, the 4 great figures attacked. They had always hated the Purple Gold Rat Emperor. Several of the rats showed strong looks of regret in their eyes. Why had they provoked Futian? Of course, this was not the main reason why they were being destroyed. After the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty and the Violet Heavenly Palace were destroyed, the Purple Gold Rats had disintegrated. The Purple Gold Rat Emperor and several of the top rats were killed, and the others were taken away by the 3 great demon clans. Each of the demon clans ruled over many races, so they did not completely exterminate the Purple Gold Rats. It was like leaving the net open on one side, but in the end, the rats were enslaved. 3 of the great powers of the Heavenly Mandate realm had been destroyed, completely changing the balance of power within the Heavenly Mandate realm. But what was strange was the people of the Heavenly Mandate realm did not think that this change would weaken the realm very much. They even thought that the weakening would only last for a little bit. In the future, they would become even stronger. Perhaps this was because the Heavenly Mandate realm had never been very unified. And the youth whose name shook the 9 realms had said he would found an academy there where all the people of the world would be allowed to pursue their own path. They would not prevent others from becoming stronger. Moreover, all of the top figures of the realm seemed willing to believe that he could do it. And if that was the case, why wouldn't others believe it? The 10,036th year of the divine prefecture calendar would be one that was entered in the history books of the heavenly mandate realm. In Celestial City, the celestial gate of vast heaven began rebuilding. Countless people from the city came to help. Seeing the people of the celestial gate of vast heaven returning naturally made them very happy. As the celestial gate of vast heaven began to take shape, the cultivators from Injiao Mountain arrived. They had been afraid for a time after the purple gold rats had been destroyed, but no one had come to destroy them. Thus, they had been relieved, knowing that Yi Futian was not planning to attack them. Yi Futian did not have any hostility towards them, but the three great demon clans went there to seize their treasures. This hurt them deeply, but they did not dare complain. Afterward, they could only lower their heads and promise not to cause trouble. The demon realm of the heavenly mandate realm was destined to be controlled by the divine elephants, the dragon gods, and the sky demon court. From then on, the turmoil within the heavenly mandate realm was ended. Now it would be a different story. Yi Futian, Jiang Qingzi, Hua Jiangshan, Gu Donglu, and more were all at the celestial gate. They watched all the busy figures at the gate. Jiang Qingzi and Hua Jiangshan both had appreciative smiles on their faces. The celestial gate of vast heaven was finally recovering from their disaster. The threat from the heavenly mandate dynasty had been completely eliminated. Elder, when is the celestial gate planning on accepting new disciples? Yi Futian stood above the celestial gate, hair flying in the wind and looking off into the distance. Right now, the people of Celestial City are clamoring to train here. First, I want to send our renhuangs out through the various realms to bring back our people who scattered. Only then will we accept new disciples, said Jiang Qingzi. There were still many disciples of the celestial gate of vast heaven who were far away. Many of those who were below the renhuang level did not have the power to cross through realms. In realms like the 9 supreme realms, the renhuangs will have limited influence. It might be hard for them to find people, said Yi Futian. So the two of us are planning to go ourselves, said Jiang Qingzi with a smile. He and Hua Jiangshan would go as well. Yi Futian smiled and nodded. The two of them would obviously not abandon the disciples of the celestial gate. So, what will happen here? Is Gu Donglu not here? Asked Jiang Qingzi with a smile. We have discussed this. In the future, the celestial gate of vast heaven will not have several clan lords. All of the clan's power will rest with the elders and one single clan lord. This will reduce the amount of intrigue. Yi Futian looked at Jiang Qingzi in surprise. It seemed that he had guessed something. Are you planning? Jiang Qingzi nodded and said, Donglu, I give you the position of clan lord of the celestial gate of vast heaven. A look of surprise came over Gu Donglio's face. He looked at Jiang Qingzi and Hua Jiangshan and said, I am not worthy. Both in terms of experience and level, he could not contribute enough to the celestial gate. In the past, your grandfather built the celestial gate of vast heaven with his own hands. If it weren't for him, we would never have experienced our period of prosperity. Although there were 3 great clans then, everyone in the heavenly mandate realm knew that your grandfather was the emblem of the celestial gate of vast heaven. In the end, he sacrificed the Gu bloodline for the celestial gate to protect it. At that time, we also did some things we did not wish to. Now, you have inherited everything from your grandfather. There is no question that we should give the celestial gate of vast heaven to you. You are worthy of it. In the past, the 3 great clans had come together, sacrificing the Gu clan and even taking action against them. Although it had been many years ago, it still weighed upon them. Gu Tianxing had been the one to come up with it, but it still made them uneasy. Gu Donglu wanted to say something, but Hua Jiangshan smiled and said, For many years, I have been trapped at the 8th tier of the divine wheel. You have allowed me to put aside some things and find peace. Perhaps I will find a chance to advance to the next level. You young folks should worry about the affairs of the celestial gate. Now that the other 2 had said these things, there was nothing more that Gu Donglu could say. He was silent for a moment, then nodded and said, All right. He was the last member of the Gu bloodline. He would inherit his grandfather's will and lead the celestial gate forward. In that case, I can relax, said Jiang Qingzi with a smile. Given Gu Donglio's close relationship with Yi Futian, not to mention his incredible talent, the celestial gate of vast heaven would surely continue to advance. As for whether or not they would remain clan lords, that was not important. Futian, when are you planning to build the academy? Asked Jiang Qingzi. Once the celestial gate has stabilized, said Yi Futian. Before that, there is somewhere I need to go. Where? Asked Jiang Qingzi. Brahma's pure sky, answered Yi Futian. I will go with you, said Jiang Qingzi. Yi Futian did not refuse. At the moment, many people were watching him. Several days later, the celestial gate of vast heaven was finished rebuilding. There were celebrations throughout the city. Later, the two great clan lords Jiang Qingzi and Hua Jiangshan announced that from then on, there would only be one clan lord, Gu Donglu. This news shook the celestial city. On that day, Gu Donglu of the celestial gate of vast heaven appeared before the people of the world for the first time in his capacity as clan lord. He stood on the steps, a halo of divine light around him and marvelous illusions in the air. The great path descended from the heavens, shocking everyone. This was the first time they had seen someone with such a brilliant wheel of the great path. He was heroic and noble, and those who had any objections to him being named clan lord could not say anything. He would surely lead the celestial gate of vast heaven into a new era of prosperity. On that day, almost all the forces of the heavenly mandate realm were there for the celebration. But the Empress of Brahma's pure sky was not there. Yi Futian watched everything quietly from the side, a little bit of regret in his heart. Third sister was not seeing this scene. The other disciple of the cottage was not there. The next day, Yi Futian and Jiang Qingzi left. Xia Qingyun stood in the air high above the celestial gate, watching their retreating figures. All of the goddesses of Brahma's pure sky were there, standing in front of the Empress, bringing news. Gu Donglu had become the clan lord of the celestial gate of vast heaven. Everything that had happened in the heavenly mandate realm recently was like a dream. It did not seem real. The whole heavenly mandate realm had turned on its head. The Empress had a calm expression on her face. She asked the goddesses to leave, then sat there alone. She could not quiet her mind. At that moment, the hair on the back of her neck stood up. She looked off into the distance. She seemed to be able to sense something. Two figures appeared below Brahma's pure sky. Greetings, Empress. It is I, Yi Futian, came a voice that rang through Brahma's pure sky. Everyone's hearts began to beat faster. There could be no other reason. These days, wherever Yi Futian went, if you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1691 The Hurt That Won, Be Forgotten. Chapter 1691 The Hurt That Won, Be Forgotten. This was not the first time Yi Futian had come to pay a visit, but he was refused before by the Lady of Brahma's pure sky. Would Yi Futian's visit be denied again this time? Yi Futian had not embarked on his journey alone to the heavenly mandate dynasty and the violet heavenly palace. In Brahma's pure sky, all the goddesses looked at the sky beneath, and Yi Futian clearly felt all their divine spirits focusing on him. However, as he looked up, his eyes showed no disturbance. Jiang Qingzi stood quietly next to him. Yi Futian had no quarrels with Brahma's pure sky and had no plan to do anything harmful there, so it was enough with just him by his side. In today's heavenly mandate realm, perhaps no one would dare not making some allowances for Yi Futian. The fact was, Yi Futian could influence all principalities other than Brahma's pure sky. However, for some reason, Brahma's pure sky seemed to intend on setting a boundary with Yi Futian. Last time, Yi Futian had also invited Qin He to the city of the ruins. However, the Lady of Brahma's pure sky did not permit it and brought Qin He back with her. Jiang Qingzi was a little puzzled about all this, and he wasn't clear why Yi Futian wanted to visit Brahma's pure sky. However, he didn't probe. He assumed that Yi Futian must have his own reasons. At this time, there were goddesses coming down from the Brahma pure sky, and the one in the lead was an unparalleled beauty with the most alluring temperament. It was the premier virgin of Brahma's pure sky, Qin He. Qin He alighted in front of Yi Futian, Her eyes were full of smiles, and she whispered softly, "Since we parted ways at the God's Relic, young Master Yi, you are now famous in the 9 realms." "Don't tease me, goddess," Yi Futian said smilingly. He was always on good terms with Qin He, but they were not here today to chat about old times. He asked, "Is Her Majesty ready to receive me?" "Well, Her Majesty asked me to come to greet young Master Yi." Qin He nodded slightly and said, "This way." Yi Futian took a deep breath. This time, did the Lady of Brahma's pure sky finally decide to receive him? Lifting his feet, Yi Futian stepped up, walking toward Brahma's pure sky, but his steps were somewhat heavy. Even when he was destroying the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty and Violet Heavenly Palace, he had not felt this way. But at this moment he was inexplicably somber and nervous. He was afraid that the result would not be what he wanted. His every step was heavy. He had always wanted to come to Brahma's pure sky to find out in person, but at this moment, he was walking rather slowly. Jiang Qingzi gave Yi Futian a surprised look. He was pondering the exact relationship between Yi Futian and the Lady of Brahma's pure sky. This was the first time he had seen Yi Futian behaved like this. Even when they were at City of the Ruins, surrounded and besieged by various principalities, he had never behaved like he was at this moment. What was making him so nervous? Stepping across the buildings and crossing over Heaven's Gate, they walked in the direction of Heavenly Palace. Finally, a staircase appeared in front of them that led directly to the peak of Brahma's pure sky. "Her Majesty is waiting for young Master Yi up there," Qin He said to Yi Futian. She then stood aside, not intending to go along with him. "Wait for me here," Yi Futian said to Jiang Qingzi. "Very well," Jiang Qingzi nodded. Today in Heavenly Mandate Realm, no one would dare to make a move against Yi Futian. Yi Futian walked up along the staircase, and it was very high. With heavy steps, Yi Futian climbed, and finally, he could see what was above. Raising his head slightly, he continued up, and misty clouds now appeared under his feet. Finally, he climbed off the staircase and came to Brahma's pure sky. In just an instant, his body seemed to freeze, and he could no longer take another step. Time seemed to stand still at this second. In Brahma's pure sky, a woman stood there quietly, peaceful and beautiful, just like someone in a painting. Refreshing and one of a kind, she was not so unapproachable as the Lady of Brahma's pure sky to make one felt out of reach. Her beauty was of the world, but that which could satisfy all imaginations about beauty, so that even in the world, she was not any less inferior to those goddesses. But it was not her beauty that touched Yi Futian, but the fact that it was such a familiar face. Countless times, this face that had appeared in his dreams, imprinted in the depths of his memory, an unforgettable face. Scenes from the past replayed in his mind. Her name was Hua Jiyu, a talented girl in the Qingzhou Academy. In her time, she had been a goddess worshipped by those at the academy. At the end of that year, the girl took his hand while watching the boats sailing around Qingzhou Lake and the fireworks that spread from the sky. She asked him if they were in a relationship or not. The goddess of his youth, innocent and beautiful. From Qingzhou Academy, Nandu Clan, Nandu Nation, to Eastern Barren Territory, they had gone through many storms together and finally come out together. However, all of this was destroyed in that battle. In the battle that took place at the Barren State and under siege from all the Holy Lands, she laid in his arms and told him that in the future he must find a better woman because his empress ought to be someone who would make all others pale in the 9 heavens. She had also said not to be bossed around by that woman, however, because in this life, she was the only one who could order him around. Scene after scene emerged. It was as if a lifetime had passed in front of his eyes. An instant could be so interminably long. There were tears in Yi Futian's eyes, but they were not tears of sadness, but of joy. This outcome seemed better than he had expected. He was so afraid that he would found nothing on this trip to Brahma's pure sky. He walked up to her and reached out, wanting to caress her face again. However, before he could do that, someone appeared in front of Yi Futian, standing between the two. Noble and unapproachable. Lady of Brahma's pure sky. Because of Hua Jiyu, Yi Futian had ignored her presence, but she was always there. Yi Futian frowned and wanted to speak. She is not the person you are looking for, the Lady of Brahma's pure sky spoke first. No matter what you have done, I can look past them. I owe you a favor, Yi Futian said. Since Hua Jiyu was still alive, then it was the Lady of Brahma's pure sky who had saved her. He would not pursue the reason why she had concealed the truth. As long as Jiyu was alive, it was enough. Your wife is dead. The Lady of Brahma's pure sky stared into his eyes. Yi Futian's heart trembled, and his face suddenly paled as he looked at Hua Jiyu. You know this better than anyone else. Your wife died for you. What you see in front of you now was formed from what was left of her soul. Although I reshaped her physical body, she is no longer your wife, the Lady of Brahma's pure sky continued. Yi Futian remembered that battle, in which Hua Jiyu was left only with a trace of her soul, and it dissipated between heaven and earth. But seeing Jiyu standing in front of him with his own eyes, he couldn't believe it. Jiyu, he looked at her. Hua Jiyu returned his gaze, and Yi Futian saw that her eyes were as calm as stilled water. There seemed to be no disturbances in her eyes. It was as if he was indeed just a stranger. At this moment, Yi Futian's heart suddenly ached. Wasn't it? How could it not be? The woman who had appeared in his mind countless times was now standing right in front of his eyes. What did you do to her? Yi Futian stared at Lady of Brahma's pure sky, and his eyes suddenly became extremely cold. Those eyes, cold as steel, actually made the Lady of Brahma's pure sky felt a sense of chill. I already told you that she is not your wife. Now, she is my direct disciple, and she will inherit my craft. In the future, she will inherit Brahma's pure sky and become the next lady who rules Brahma's pure sky. She looked at Yi Futian indifferently. Your disciple? Yi Futian stared at the other. Even if she had really forgotten about everything, she is still my wife. Even if it was just a remnant of her soul, it won't change anything. She's leaving with me. The lady looked at him and said coldly, if she's willing, I will not stop her. Yi Futian walked past her and stood in front of Hua Jiyu. He looked at her and stretched out his hands. However, seeing Hua Jiyu's eyes, he hesitated. So, he put his hand down again and whispered, Jiyu, it's me. Hua Jiyu turned around and walked away, then just sat there. Yi Futian's heart seemed to be struck by a sword. It was so painful that he felt like his heart was broken. Qingzhou Lake was where we fell in love. Don't you remember? Yi Futian looked at her and asked. Book Mountain, on our wedding day, the Eastern Barren Territory came to congratulate us. Jiyu, don't you remember? Yi Futian continued. Yi Futian's voice was trembling. Everything that had happened, you should know better than anyone else, so why bother deceiving yourself? Lady of Brahma's pure sky turned to look at Yi Futian, saying, Your wife already perished in that battle. I want to take her away from here, Yi Futian insisted. You have vanquished the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty, the Violet Heavenly Palace, and the Purple Gold Rat Clan, so if you really want to do this, I can't stop you. If you want to forcefully take her away against her will and disregard her feelings, then do what you will, the Lady of Brahma's pure sky said calmly. Yi Futian felt a pain prick at his heart. He walked to Hua Jiyu and said with a smile, You little devil, did you really forget me? With her eyes closed, Hua Jiyu simply sat there quietly. Watching her, Yi Futian suddenly felt weak all over. Even though he was Renhuang, it was as if he had exhausted all his strength. Then I will come see you another day. Yi Futian displayed a bright smile, but it seemed somewhat forced. On the bright side, at least she was still alive, right? Yi Futian looked at Lady of Brahma's pure sky and said, I may come from time to time in the future. I beg your forgiveness in advance. Lady of Brahma's pure sky frowned, seemingly displeased. Yi Futian ignored her reaction and turned to walk down the stairs. He went all the way down and didn't seem to hear Qin He even when she greeted him. He left with Jiang Qingzi. After his departure, Brahma's pure sky remained quiet. The Lady of Brahma's pure sky looked at Hua Jiyu, who was sitting there. 2 trails of tears had streaked from her tightly closed eyes. When those beautiful eyes opened again, they were full of tears. When did his hair turn all white? A heartbreaking voice spoke. It seemed to contain endless sorrow and pain. It must have been hard for him to bear. The desperation must have been overwhelming. Would she forget about him? How could she forget? Even if she had forgotten who she was, or the whole world, she would never forget him. Forget, and you don't have to endure this kind of pain, a voice said. It was the Lady of Brahma's pure sky who spoke to her. Hua Jiyu raised her head to look at the Lady of Brahma's pure sky, and suddenly she smiled and replied, "It is because it hurts that I won't forget. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible." Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1692 I Am You. If you win. Chapter 1692 I Am You. If you win. The Lady of Brahma's pure sky looked at her. It was because it hurt that wouldn't forget? That's your past life, not this life. Why endure the pain of your past life in this life? The lady asked. Since I remembered, then there must be just the one life. Hua Jiyu looked at her and responded. Lady of Brahma's pure sky looked on coldly, and an invisible breath bloomed from her, covering the space. Terrible light was released from Hua Jiyu's body. Hua Jiyu's body trembled suddenly. It was as if she was enduring extreme pain. Her face was distorted, and from her body, shadow after shadow was stripping out, and there seemed to be thousands of them being peeled away. All of them appeared around her. These shadows did not look like Hua Jiyu but were that of the Lady of Brahma's pure sky. Hua Jiyu's figure became elusive, no longer appeared real. Like a vague shadow, it could dissipate at any time. Finally, there seemed to be a light that switched on. And in this light, many paintings could be vaguely made out, and all those paintings were of the same person. If Yi Futian were there, he would find that every one of these paintings was a depiction of their shared memories, which had also appeared in his mind not long ago. Do you want the past life or this life? Many voices spoke as the many shadows that were surrounding her asked her at the same time. At this moment, that elusive figure seemed so fragile and precarious. It was as if it might disappear at any moment. You should know that even if he had destroyed the Heavenly Mandate dynasty and the Violet Heavenly Palace, he could do nothing to me. That elusive figure suddenly laughed and said, "Then your 100 generations worth of cultivation will disappear with me." The Lady of Brahma's pure sky fell silent. They both knew that this was the truth. Back then, when she rescued Hua Jiyu, the Lady of Brahma's pure sky felt the opportunity of enlightenment in her. So she had chosen a woman from the lower worlds to be the perfect embodiment of herself. However, it seemed that it might not have been so perfect after all. Her previous life had too strong of a hold on her. It was too strong to be erased. Since it's a no-win situation, let's make a bet. Finally, the Lady of Brahma's pure sky turned around and said, "Put out the lamp. I will let you go with him to cultivate. If I win, you are me. If you win, then I will be you." Hua Jiyu looked at her and asked, "How could I trust you?" "If you agree, I will cut off my own recourse," said the Lady of Brahma's pure sky. "Very well." Hua Jiyu nodded. The Lady of Brahma's pure sky turned around and saw those elusive figures merged into Hua Jiyu's body, while the lady herself stepped into the sacred hall in the heavenly palace. She closed her eyes, and an extremely powerful aura rushed directly into Hua Jiyu. At the same time, there was a voice resounding through Brahma's pure sky. "Starting today, I will be cultivating in retreat. From now on, everyone in Brahma's pure sky will need to assist Hua Jiyu. After I go into the retreat, if the Heavenly Mandate Academy is established, Futian goddess will escort her there to cultivate." As the voice fell, the sacred hall suddenly lit up. Hua Jiyu looked ahead, then turned around and walked toward the staircase, looking down at the sky below. There were tears dripping down from the corner of her eyes, but a steely determination could be seen in those eyes. "If I forget about you, you would forgive me, right?" she said in a heartbreaking voice. She suddenly smiled and continued, "At least, I will be by your side again." Leaving was for a more perfect return. Brahma's pure sky was shaken up, but no one knew just what kind of agreement they had made, or exactly what was at stake. Yi Futian returned to the celestial gate of vast heaven. Now, the celestial gate of vast heaven had been re-established in the celestial city with Gu Donglu as the master of the celestial gate. Next, it should be the establishment of the academy. The celestial gate of vast heaven had already dispatched its cultivators to the location where the heavenly mandate dynasty once resided. They would work together to build the academy at heavenly mandate realm. Now, all the top forces in the heavenly mandate realm were getting busy. This was the first time that all of them were working hard toward the same goal simultaneously. Xia Qingyuan had also been working hard at cultivation. After receiving the lotus flower in God's relic, she made rapid progress, transforming her life spirit and merging one with the divine lotus. She had already experienced a transformation. On this day, she finished cultivating and walked toward the person in front of her. The man stood quietly on the edge of the palace, looking into the distance. He appeared quite lonesome. She walked next to him and asked softly, "Did you find what you were looking for?" "Yeah," Yi Futian said with a smile, "I did." In any case, she was still around, right? Although the outcome was not exactly what he had hoped for, it was not bad either. That was why he told the Lady of Brahma's pure sky that he would be visiting again. Xia Qingyuan's beautiful eyes were slightly turbulent, but then she smiled a brilliant smile and said, "After so many years of hard work, you have finally accomplished your wish. Why didn't you take her back with you?" "She refused to come back with me," Yi Futian said. Xia Qingyuan looked surprised. "But why?" She had suffered such a grievous injury back then, maybe that's why she forgot everything. But as long as she is still alive, it's enough, isn't it? Yi Futian didn't know whether he was talking to Xia Qingyuan or to himself. He once thought that she had disappeared completely from his life, and it was Xia Qingyuan's intel that gave him a glimmer of hope. But he also knew very well that he had been tricking himself all these years with this desperate and elusive wish until he saw her in those elusive dreams. Now that he had seen that she was still alive, despite being a little disappointed, it was better than he had expected. Xia Qingyuan was taken aback at first, but then she understood what Yi Futian meant. Had she really forgotten everything? "She will remember it," Xia Qingyuan said. "And you won't give up either, will you?" Yi Futian nodded. He turned around and looked at Xia Qingyuan with a smile. "Thank you." Over the years, he had never thanked Xia Qingyuan properly. If it weren't for Xia Qingyuan, he wouldn't have even started looking, and he wouldn't have this little bit of hope. Xia Qingyuan looked into his eyes, then smiled brightly and said, "Not at all. You helped me a lot too." She continued, "I have to cultivate now, and maybe it won't be long before I can become a Renhuang, just like my father." After Xia Qingyuan finished speaking, she turned to leave. Yi Futian looked at her and saw her footsteps speed up. It was as if she was running away. With her back to Yi Futian, tears flowed freely from those beautiful eyes that had smiled so brilliantly. Just, "Thank you?" This wasn't what she wanted. However, it was still a very happy ending. After all, he finally found the one he loved, hadn't he? Perhaps this was the best outcome. When she entered the realm of Renhuang, she would return to Emperor Xia's realm and become empress so that her father could rest. Well, that would also be perfect. The center of the heavenly mandate realm was once the territory of the heavenly mandate dynasty, and it had been extremely unstable during this period of time. First, it was the destruction of the heavenly mandate dynasty that, like a thunderbolt, shocked the hearts of countless many. It could not be assuaged for a long time. As the symbol of the heavenly mandate realm, the heavenly mandate dynasty had stood for countless years. Its destruction was like a dream. But now, after the destruction of the heavenly mandate dynasty, its ruins had been cleared up. An academy was rising from the ground, and the area covered by this academy would be even greater than the former imperial palace. Many went to watch the buildings grew out of thin air inside the academy, which had elicited all kinds of emotions. After the destruction of a dynasty, would there be another stronger force replacing it? Numerous cultivators in the heavenly mandate realm had come here, especially many young people. They dreamt of entering this academy with their minds set on seeking the way. They all knew that this academy would be the future of the heavenly mandate realm, its strongest holy land for cultivation. At this time, outside the academy that was still under construction, there were many excellent figures that gathered there. Among them, there were two young people. It was a man and a woman. The man was unparalleled in his temperament, and the woman was unparalleled in her looks. When they walked together, they looked like a perfect match, a golden couple. "I didn't expect this," the young man said with a smile. "It has only been a few years since we came to the heavenly mandate realm together, and now his name rings through the entire realm. It is said that he is renowned even in 9 supreme realms. The history of the heavenly mandate realm was also rewritten because of him." "It's surreal, all right," the woman said with a small smile. "I wonder how the others are doing with their cultivation." "In any case, I am afraid that no one can overshadow his fame," the young man laughed. "Fortunately, we had no conflict with him back in the days. Otherwise, even my father would not be able to hold him back." These two were indeed Yi Futian's friends from Crimson Dragon Realm. Qi Shang, the son of the Crimson Dragon Emperor, and his wife, Yu Shifei. After the two married in Crimson Dragon Realm, they came to the Heavenly Mandate Realm together. "How could you, given your character?" Yu Shifei smiled. "Shifei, do you think there would be a shortcut for us if we wanted to go to the academy to cultivate? We are not that lousy, are we?" Yu Shifei said in a low voice. They were the most outstanding cultivators in the Crimson Dragon Realm. They should be qualified to cultivate in the Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm. "That's right. We all came here together. A shortcut would be incredibly shameful." Qi Shang laughed. Moreover, he was the prince of the Crimson Dragon Realm, who came to the Heavenly Mandate Realm with Yi Futian. If he had to rely on his relationships to get in the academy that Yi Futian established, it would be too dishonorable. Aside from them, many people who knew Yi Futian had come here as well. For example, Emperor Qi that Yi Futian had met when he first arrived at the Heavenly Mandate Realm, as well as people from the Yun clan, like Yun Chenyue, who had always wanted to be his student. It was not until he was forced to save Yun Chenyue that he finally agreed. Yun Chenyue knew that this was not what her teacher wanted, but she just wanted to see him from a distance and watch. The academy was starting to form with the joint efforts of all principalities. It would not be long before it was completed. By then, who knew what could be achieved? On the opening day of the academy, would all the top figures in the Heavenly Mandate Realm make an appearance? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1693 The Cottage. Chapter 1693 The Cottage. These days at the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, there were powerful cultivators of Renhuang Realm who departed successively, heading toward different places, some even to different realms. The academy that was built on the ruins of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty gradually took shape over time, magnificent and impressive. However, it lacked the depth of history and charms from the past. After all, this was a brand new institution, and it would wait for someone to write it into history. Many cultivators had gathered at the center of Heavenly Mandate Realm, and the entire Heavenly Mandate Realm was in an uproar. Everyone wanted to be there to witness this great occasion. Not just the Heavenly Mandate Realm, but other forces of the 9 Supreme Imperial Realms had received the news and sent their people into the Heavenly Mandate Realm right away. After he came out of the God's Relic, Yi Futian became famous in the 9 realms. His name was known by all. Now he had set off another wave in Heavenly Mandate Realm, and it would not go unnoticed in the 9 realms. Although the turmoil of the past had faded away, there were still many who had Yi Futian in their minds. Even though he exerted great influence now in the Heavenly Mandate Realm, there were some principalities who didn't. It was still Empty Imperial Palace that gave these principalities pause. Empty Imperial Palace was the first to come forward and offered him protection. Thus, no one wanted to be the first to make a move on Yi Futian, not even the Golden Divine Nation who harbored deep animosity toward him. As it turned out, they would only send men to lay in wait at the Heavenly Mandate dynasty for an opportunity. If Yi Futian took the initiative to invade because they had defied Empty Imperial Palace's order and attacked him first, then the consequence would be very different. However, when the Heavenly Mandate Realm was steeped in turmoil, the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven was quiet by contrast. But surprisingly to some, as time passed, Yi Futian remained unstirred and did not let on when the academy would be finished, so it kept many in suspense. However, time was measured differently for those who cultivate. Several months could go by in just a blink of the eye for them. But the center of the heavenly mandate realm became quite lively. As more and more cultivators arrived, including those who were from other parts of the 9 realms, it was inevitable that some altercations and disagreements would occur. No one knew what Yi Futian was waiting for. But Yi Futian was waiting for someone. The group was not yet complete. At the very least, the opening of the Heavenly Mandate Academy should be witnessed by the disciples who used to belong to the celestial gate of vast heaven. There were also a few others that he would like to see, hoping to be there together. These days, disciples from the Heavenly Mandate realm had been picked up one after another, and Yi Futian had even welcomed a group of special guests from the Crimson Dragon realm. It turned out that after the older senior brother, Sword Saint, was teleported, he did not return to the Heavenly Mandate realm but went to the Crimson Dragon realm, which was closer, and returned to Qianya City. Therefore, Yi Futian, who had not planned on receiving those from the Crimson Dragon realm, met in advance a group of people whom he had wanted to see but not yet seen. In Yi Futian's calculation, the time was not yet ripe. His power may be strong enough in the Heavenly Mandate realm, but there were still great potential risks. Therefore, he had planned to wait a while longer, but as soon as Renhuang from the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven had found his older senior brother, the Sword Saint, there was no way they could be stopped. As a result, the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven became even sportier. Many had arrived, and they all wanted to see it with their own eyes. "Little brother, what are you thinking?" A clear voice was heard asking. Yi Futian turned and saw 2 people walking toward him. The man was peerlessly handsome, and the woman had an unbridled beauty. It was none other than Zhuge Mingyue. "My brother, you must miss me." A head popped out, and the beautiful Longlinger came to Yi Futian's side and sat next to him. They hadn't seen each other for years, but it was as if they had never been apart. "Don't be naughty," Yi Futian said smilingly. This little girl seemed to never grow up. "Second senior sister," Yi Futian called out and stood up. Zhuge Mingyue walked up to him and stretched out her hand. Then she stood on her tiptoe and patted Yi Futian's head. Yi Futian looked quite indignant. As Renhuang, he didn't expect such treatment. "You don't seem to be any different now that you are Renhuang," Zhuge Mingyue said with a light smile, "but you seem to be a little better looking." Yi Futian looked resigned to his fate. It seemed that his senior sister just wanted to experience the feeling of patting a Renhuang on the head. What could he do? "Would you allow me some dignity?" Yi Futian saw many around him were looking at them and felt that his image was completely destroyed. "Yes, after all, you are now the legendary Renhuang they all talked about." Zhuge Mingyue nodded in agreement. Back in the days in the Eastern Barren Territory, those in the Sage Realm were legends in their own right. They have never even heard of Renhuang. And now their little brother was a Renhuang himself. "But, third senior brother is a Renhuang too," Yi Futian smiled weakly. "How about not bullying the wrong person?" "True, but he doesn't much feel like one at all." Zhuge Mingyue glanced at Gu Donglu with a smile, who was right next to her. And Gu Donglu always had a gentle smile on his face. "When you bring Jiyu here, then the group would be complete," Zhuge Mingyue said again. Yi Futian's eyes darkened, and he could say nothing. "Don't think so much about it. It is enough that Jiyu is still alive. No matter what had happened to her, she's still there, so what does it matter? Even if she had forgotten some things, you could always start over again." Zhuge Mingyue already knew what happened because Yi Futian had told them. In that battle, countless people in the Holy Ji Palace watched Hua Jiyu's demise, as the wife of the palace lord of the Holy Ji Palace, die on the battlefield. Even if the battle was won, that victory had come with an extremely heavy price tag. After that, Yi Futian departed to Qingzhou City. That was when all his hair turned white. When Zhuge Mingyue learned that Yi Futian had seen Hua Jiyu, she was very happy for him because she had lost all hope. In fact, anyone who had witnessed what happened with their own eyes, except Yi Futian himself, would have lost hope. Yi Futian, because he cared too much, he almost wanted to deceive himself of what really happened. "Yes." Yi Futian nodded. She was right. Worst come to worst, they would just have to start over again. He did not completely trust the Lady of Brahma's pure sky, But even at the very least, Jiyu was still alive. Futian. At this time, a man walked toward him, and it was the sword master of Lihan, who was followed by another man, Wang Chuan. Previously, Wang Chuan had been cultivating in the Crimson Dragon realm and happened to meet the Renhuang from the celestial gate of vast heaven, so he came along with them. His master, the sword master of Lihan, had already become the sword emperor. Sword master, Yi Futian called out. The celestial gate had gone to all realms and rounded up more than half of all their disciples. They wanted to know, when do you plan to depart? Sword master of Lihan asked. Then let's go, said Yi Futian. It was unrealistic for Celestial Gate to round up all of their disciples all at once. Now that several months had gone by, everyone was waiting. It was no longer appropriate to continue the delay. Good, let me tell them, the Swordmaster acknowledged. Not long ago, the mighty cultivators of Celestial Gate of vast heaven gathered together there. Now that the heavenly mandate realm was for all practical purposes under Yi Futian's command, even if there was no one left at Celestial Gate of vast heaven, there was no fear that it would be attacked. This time, everyone at Celestial Gate of vast heaven was prepared to attend the ceremony to show their support. Depart. In an instant, a mighty force of cultivator embarked, heading toward the sky. Yi Futian and the others descended in the center of the heavenly mandate realm, where the newly constructed academy was located. Therefore, Yi Futian changed his mind and gave up the idea of naming the academy as Heavenly Mandate Cottage. Instead, he would name it the Heavenly Mandate Academy and set up the cottage as a part of it. And only those who possessed the perfect divine will could have a chance to be admitted into the cottage. This also meant that Yi Futian was almost certainly would be the one to control the process personally, without announcing it to the public. If so, how awesome would the future disciples of the cottage be? Very well. Everyone nodded, and there was no disagreement. So, the weighty news was officially released to the public. The name of the academy was to be the Heavenly Mandate Academy. After 7 days, the Heavenly Mandate Academy would be officially open its door in the Heavenly Mandate realm and invite everyone to come. And everyone was invited to come and observe the opening ceremony. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1694 Precaution. Chapter 1694 Precaution. The first batch of disciples had already been internally decided when Yi Futian and the rest of his group decided to set up an independent cottage within Tianshan Academy. Yi Futian did not take on the role of dean in the new cottage. Instead, he naturally became the cottage manager of the Heavenly Mandate Academy. The first batch of candidates for the cottage consisted of Yi Futian, Yu Xing, Yaya, the swordmaster of Lihan, Long Chen, Jun, Gao Huang, etc. Gu Donglu was already the master of the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven and thus would not be training in the Heavenly Mandate Academy. However, this was unimportant. They were the first disciples of the cottage. Judging from this, the Heavenly Mandate Academy was merely a splinter of the cottage. Several days after the news was released, the first batch of powerful fighters from the Dou clan arrived early. They brought along Dou Zhao from the Dou clan. Ever since Dou Zhao forged his perfect divine wheel, he listened to Yi Futian's instructions and returned to his clan. He trained in solitude for a period to stabilize his level and cultivated his will of the fighting god to an even higher level. "Senior, I'm here," Dou Zhao said with a smile as he quickly walked forward when he saw Yi Futian. Yi Futian had told him to call him his senior. Otherwise, he might have called him brother or teacher. "You sure are early," Yi Futian said with a smile. "Of course. After all, I am also a member of the Heavenly Mandate Academy. How could I be left out of the Academy's creation? That's why I came early," Dou Zhao said naturally. He did not see himself as an outsider and instead saw himself as a member of the Heavenly Mandate Academy. However, Yi Futian did not mind that. How could he refuse the successor of the Dou clan from coming to the Heavenly Mandate Academy to train? Furthermore, Yi Futian had also thought to leave a spot in the cottage for him in the past. Several people walked over. Some of them recognized Dou Zhao, while many others did not. Oh right, I can now consistently activate the sevenfold will of the fighting god and have faintly touched on the 8th level. I've been rather lonely in the family. Do you want to spar, senior? Dou Zhao was a little feisty. No one of the same generation as him in the family could satisfy him anymore after he forged the perfect divine wheel and could consistently activate the sevenfold will of the fighting god. He triumphed over any low-level Renhuang with absolute certainty. He could not help but have this thought: being invincible was too lonely. I'll find someone to spar with you, Yi Futian said with a smile. Yu Xing. Yu Xing stepped forward from behind Yi Futian. His muscular body was laced with an unbelievably wild pressure. An aura at the level of a demonic emperor radiated toward Dou Zhao. Forget it, we are all brothers, let's not disturb the peace, Dou Zhao said naturally. He decided not to fight. When did this guy become a Renhuang? Judging from his aura, he should also have a perfect divine wheel. Wouldn't that mean that my level was the same as his? What kind of battle would it be? I won't have the advantage in terms of strength. That's fine too. Yi Futian nodded. We'll all be brothers after the academy is set up. To prevent loneliness, you can talk about cultivation with Yu Xing frequently in the future. I'll set up an independent, sealed platform. You won't be able to leave until you are defeated. Senior, the members of my family are here. Give me some face, Dou Zhao told Yi Futian through telepathy. He then continued, we should focus on training after the academy is set up and give our juniors some pointers from time to time. Yu Xing is around the same level as me. We do not need to discuss our cultivation. Cough cough, Dou Zhao coughed as he said his piece. He was the descendant of the fighting god and was now seen as the war god in the Dou clan. Yi Futian should give him some face. Yi Futian smiled. He looked toward the people behind Dou Zhao and said, your journey here must have been hard, please. You're too polite, Emperor Yi. The group nodded. They felt rather uneasy. The people from the outside world did not understand, but the powerful fighters of the Dou clan were clear that Yi Futian had something to do with Dou Zhao forging his perfect divine wheel. When they heard Yi Futian's words, they sensed that Yu Xing, who was standing behind Yi Futian, had also forged a perfect divine wheel. In their minds, there was now one more wielder of a perfect divine wheel. The potential of this new academy was terrifying. As time drew closer, another terrifying aura descended from the sky above the Heavenly Mandate Academy. A group of figures flew down. Many people within the Heavenly Mandate Academy looked up to see that the two people in front of the group were elders with an exceptional demeanor. Lord Teacher. The people saw a figure step onto the sky to actively welcome the two figures. The people naturally knew who the white-haired figure was. Behind him, several influential figures also took to the skies. The two figures were clearly very respected. Lord Taixian of the Taixian Mountain in the higher heavens realm. The other person should be the Sky River Great Elder. Many people knew about the happenings in the 9 Supreme Imperial Realm. They had heard many things about Lord Taixian. It was rumored that he had already broken through the bottleneck and reached the level Gu Tianxing was at back in those years. The two figures nodded. The group walked toward the academy. The black wing condor dived down from the sky and arrived at Yi Futian's side. At the same time, a beautiful figure dressed in a fiery red long dress also came to Yi Futian's side. It was Little Phoenix from Taixian Mountain. Why is Lord Taixian and the Sky River Great Elder here? Countless people in the Heavenly Mandate City engaged in a discussion. The Sky River Great Elder was Yi Futian's teacher. Could he also be here to enter the academy? Just how many influential figures would there be in the Heavenly Mandate Academy? Just who would be the first dean of the Heavenly Mandate Academy? Futian, I've already heard about your thoughts from your teacher. Your teacher is also willing to take up the position as the dean of the Heavenly Mandate Academy. Since that is the case, I shall take on the role of guest minister, Lord Taixian said with a smile. Yi Futian was making a contribution to the world of cultivation by setting up the Heavenly Mandate Academy to spread his teachings. Furthermore, aside from his relationship with the Sky River Great Elder, Lord Taixian saw the Sky River Great Elder's disciple very highly. Thank you, Lord. Yi Futian then said with a smile, if that is the case, the first guest minister of the Heavenly Mandate Academy is decided. The Heavenly Mandate Academy was set up in collaboration with several factions of the Heavenly Mandate realm. Naturally, there would not be only one guest minister. The heads of the various factions would not take up any specific roles in the Heavenly Mandate Academy. Thus, they would all be guest ministers of the Heavenly Mandate Academy. They would also send powerful fighters from their factions to take up specific roles in the academy. Futian had promised in the past that he did not set up the Heavenly Mandate Academy to rule over the Heavenly Mandate realm. This was not only his academy alone. However, everyone knew that Futian would be a pivotal figure in the Heavenly Mandate Academy. Do Zhao, since you are entering the academy to train, has any of the seniors in the Do clan considered becoming a guest minister of the academy? Of course, they can also take up the position of elder, Futian said as he looked at Do Zhao. A guest minister was a title, while an elder was a specific role. I'll discuss it with my family. There should be no problems, Do Zhao said. Thanks for your effort, Junior, Futian said with a smile. Several powerful fighters looked toward Futian. Did this person want to pull in influential factions from all over the realm? However, most of the people understood his intentions. He wanted the Heavenly Mandate Academy to be stable. After all, many people had their sights on him. Another person descended from the sky. Several people looked up in the air. They saw that an enchanting figure had appeared in the sky. They were all charmed. The Jyotian goddess of Brahma's pure sky has arrived, someone said. Who's the person in the middle? Several people let out looks of shock. No one had seen the enchanting lady in the middle. Even the Jyotian goddess was standing beside her? Furthermore, He was standing behind her. Many people were suspicious. Could she be the true successor of Brahma's pure sky? Futian looked up. His gaze froze in that spot when he saw the figure. He was not the only one. The sword saint, Zhuge Mingyue, and Gu Donglu also could not shift their gazes away from that figure. The battle in the barren state was still fresh in their minds. They were all alive, but the female master of the ultimate holy palace had died in the battle. Now, she had once again appeared before their eyes. Sister Jiyu, Long Linger murmured to herself in a daze. Under the orders of the Empress, her personal disciple, Hua Jiyu, will enter the academy to train, a goddess in the air announced with a loud voice. Futian's gaze did not leave Hua Jiyu's body. He deliberated for a moment, then said, "Please." He had just said this when the figures of the group from Brahma's pure sky descended into the academy. Futian turned to look at them. He saw the ladies from Brahma's pure sky bow toward the influential figures. "Greetings to you, elders." Several people felt that was something strange going on. Futian's emotion was off. They saw a figure walk forward. It was Zhuge Mingyue. She appeared in front of the people from Brahma's pure sky. Her gaze landed on Hua Jiyu's body. She had a warm and radiant smile. This was the lady that her junior loved the most. She had seen her junior grow up with Hua Jiyu. How could Zhuge Mingyue not be happy now that she had seen her again? "Jiyu, do you not recognize me?" Zhuge Mingyue's tone was gentle. However, Hua Jiyu only glanced coldly at her. There was no emotion in her eyes. Her gaze was bleak. "Second senior," Futian shouted. Zhuge Mingyue turned to look at him. At this moment, she finally understood what Futian was feeling. "Jiyu, can I chat with you in the future?" Zhuge Mingyue asked Hua Jiyu. "You've got the wrong person." Hua Jiyu turned around and walked to the side. Zhuge Mingyue looked at her figure. She stood there silently for a long time. It was not only her. Everyone who was once from the Holy Palace took a few steps forward. "Brother!" Long Linger grabbed onto Futian's arm. She was worried about him. "I'm all right," Futian said. Just what did the Empress of Brahma's pure sky mean by this? She knew that Hua Jiyu had died. Why did she still use her name? "Futian." Lord Taishin asked Futian. "My wife." Futian collected himself and gave the Lord a simple explanation. The influential figures of the Heavenly Mandate realm felt their hearts shake. "Futian," the Dragon Master said to Futian, "I heard that the technique practiced by the one in Brahma's pure sky is extremely unique. This might not be a simple case of memory loss. The technique cultivated by the Empress of the Brahma's pure sky is a secret to this day. The master of the 10,000 divine mountains said, "You have to be wary of a possibility. She might be using your wife for her cultivation." Yi Futian's pupils dilated. He involuntarily released a cold aura. "What do you mean by that, elder? What's she using her for?" Yi Futian said. "You have to be wary of that possibility. If that is the case, your wife will make use of you in her cultivation. Furthermore, you'll be willing to do so," the master of the 10,000 divine mountain continued. Yi Futian's expression turned ice-cold. The other party got Jiyu to come train at the academy. There was indeed that possibility. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1695 Creation of the Academy. Chapter 1695 Creation of the Academy. Yi Futian knew that Jiyu had secretly cultivated a technique. She should have obtained the technique when she was training outside with Xia Qingyuan the other time. It was because she cultivated the technique that she caught the attention of the Empress during the battle at the Holy Palace. It might also be the reason that she could still exist in this world. Otherwise, the last vestiges of her soul would have long scattered into the universe. If he thought about it that way, what the influential figures told him was probably true. That technique was the only reason Jiyu managed to stay alive, but her life was no longer her own. Also, there was one more incident that could prove the theory. In Brahma's pure sky, other than the Empress, there was also the Jyotian goddess and the great virgin Qinhe. However, why would Jiyu become the personal disciple of the Empress and the core figure in Brahma's pure sky? Why would the Empress pay so much attention to her? However, if that was the case, wasn't the Empress worried that he would find out about the truth if she sent Jiyu to train by his side? Or in other words, the other party did not mind that at all. Yi Futian looked in the direction Jiyu was. He knew that the Empress of Brahma's pure sky had won. What could he do about the situation even if he knew about it? Attack Jiyu? Alternatively, he could go to Brahma's pure sky and attack the Empress. However, he did not know if Jiyu would disappear entirely if he did that. At this moment, Yi Futian's heart was in a mess. It's wrong. A thought flashed past Yi Futian's brain. He remembered something. In the past, he had sensed Jiyu's existence twice. Did that mean that even though Jiyu was being controlled by the Empress of Brahma's pure sky, she had not fully lost her sense of self? There might be a shred of consciousness hiding within her. That was why he could sense Jiyu's existence. A ray of hope shone in his heart when he thought about this. No one in the surroundings disturbed Yi Futian. This incident shocked all of the powerful fighters. Yi Futian's wife was being controlled by the Empress of Brahma's pure sky. Goddess Qin, you can also train together with her in the academy. Yi Futian suddenly looked toward the group from Brahma's pure sky and said, "Qin." He turned around and looked at Yi Futian with her beautiful eyes. She was a little hesitant. She had wanted to train with Yi Futian in the past, but the Empress did not let her. "You can stay too," a goddess by Qinhe's side told her. "All right." Qinhe nodded with a smile. She felt extremely conflicted. The disciple that the Empress had accepted was Yi Futian's wife. It was no wonder Yi Futian had asked about her in the past. As it turned out, everything was true. Yi Futian immediately averted his gaze when he saw Qinhe nod. There were many powerful fighters here to congratulate him today. As the host of the occasion, now was not the time to discuss private matters. Both Lord Taishan and the Dou clan had come here out of respect for him. All he could do about Jiyu was to slowly consider the circumstances. Since the Empress of Brahma's pure sky had sent her here to train, he had time in the future to investigate the matter. "Seniors," Yi Futian said. He led the powerful fighters toward the area where the banquet would be held. In reality, it was not only the Dou clan and Taishan Mountain who had arrived in the Heavenly Mandate City today. Many powerful fighters from top-notch factions of the other realms had also arrived and were mixed within the crowd. The large ripple that happened in the Heavenly Mandate realm after Yi Futian left Shantian Academy had spread to the other realms. Currently, the Heavenly Mandate realm was almost unified. Even though the main aim of the Heavenly Mandate Academy was to spread teachings, all of the factions in the Heavenly Mandate realm were now standing on the same side with the help of the Heavenly Mandate Academy. They have become a superpower. Now, other than the fact that Yi Futian's cultivation level was still rather low, he already had the strength to fight against any of the top-notch factions. The soon-to-be-formed Heavenly Mandate Academy only lacked people who stood at the very top of the world. Thus, Yi Futian had invited Lord Taishin. Finally, the day that the Heavenly Mandate Academy would be set up had come. Heavenly Mandate City was filled with cultivators from all over the realm, especially those who had come from the areas around the Heavenly Mandate Academy. The city was packed. One would not be able to find an empty spot on the streets from the sky. Every area was filled with humans. A majestic affair like this was unprecedented in the Heavenly Mandate realm. At the very least, nothing of this scale had happened in the last 100 years. Sunlight fell onto the area that was once the imperial city of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. It created a grand sight. The surroundings also had an ancient aura and the vicissitudes of history. Of course, the Heavenly Mandate City was no longer the imperial city of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. It would become the outer city of the Heavenly Mandate Academy. The fate of this city was now inextricably linked to that of the Heavenly Mandate Academy. The tallest building in the academy was unique. It was a library. The structure of the building looked like pages of ancient scrolls piled up together to form an outer coating. At the tallest point of the library was an open ancient scroll that was 10 zhang tall. At this moment, several people were standing in front of the ancient book. Countless people looked over. They saw several top-notch figures such as the white-haired Yi Futian, the Dragon Master of the Divine Dragons from the Demon Realm, the Divine Elephant Emperor, the Golden Raven Demonic Lord from the Sky Demon Court, the Master of the 10,000 Divine Mountain, Lord Taishin, the Sky River Great Elder, and Gu Donglu. Every one of them had exceptional status. Below them, on the lower floor of the library, was an even larger group of powerful fighters. They were influential figures from top-notch factions. Jiang Qingzi and Hua Jiangshan from the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven were there. The two of them were once leaders of the Celestial Gate. Several people got a faint understanding when they witnessed the scene. Everyone on the highest level, other than Yi Futian, were all masters of an entire organization. That included Gu Donglu. He was now the only master of the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. The people on the next level were the powerhouses of various factions. Seniors, please inscribe your words, Yi Futian said with a smile. The Dragon Master, Divine Elephant Emperor, Golden Raven Demonic Lord, and the Master of the 10,000 Divine Mountain walked toward the cover of the ancient book. Each one of them inscribed a word. They were forceful, overbearing, suppressing, and splendid. The Dragon Master inscribed the word, Heaven. The word harbored unparalleled weight. The Golden Raven Demonic Lord inscribed the word, Mandate. Golden divine flames fell and caused the ancient book to release a radiant glow. The Divine Elephant Emperor started the word, Academy, with overbearing arrogance. The Master of the 10,000 Divine Mountain finished the word. He exuded radiance and his free-spirited will. The words released extreme radiance and glory. It caused countless hearts to throb with passion. Heavenly Mandate Academy. Please inscribe your word, Lord, Yi Futian said with a smile. Everyone's gaze landed on Lord Taishin. Lord Taishin nodded. He inscribed a word in the book. The word he inscribed seemed to float outside the book. As the word landed on the book, the will of the Great Path seized the surroundings. The entire Heavenly Mandate Academy seemed to be enveloped in the splendor of the word, Path. At this moment, countless people looked at the word, Path. Several people even wanted to sit down and cultivate on the spot. That was true even for powerful fighters at the Renhuang Plain. Yi Futian let out a smile. Back in Taishin Mountain, Lord Taishin etched a word in the sky when he surpassed his bottleneck. Now that he had effortfully invited Lord Taishin here, he could not let him go. Thus, he got the first guest minister of the Heavenly Mandate Academy to inscribe the word, Path. This way, Everything was perfect. The words on the book implied that the Heavenly Mandate Academy was a place for spreading the great path. The group turned around and looked toward the distance. There were countless figures in the Heavenly Mandate City. There were groups from the sky to the ground. They all witnessed this lavish event of the Heavenly Mandate realm. Futian, you can make the announcement. Countless people looked at Futian. Even though he did not take up the role as the first dean of the Heavenly Mandate Academy due to his cultivation level, the creation of the Heavenly Mandate Academy was largely attributed to him. At this moment, it was natural for him to step out and announce the creation of the Heavenly Mandate Academy. All right. Futian nodded with a smile. He did not hold back. He stepped forward and stood on the sky alone. He looked down at the endless crowd. A breeze blew past. His white hair flew, and his robe fluttered in the wind. Countless gazes landed on him. This charismatic figure who had risen within the Heavenly Mandate realm within the span of a few years and had his reputation spread throughout the 9 supreme imperial realms had changed the entire Heavenly Mandate realm. Zhuge Mingyue stood within the academy and looked up at the figure in the sky. Futian had not left the Crimson Dragon realm for many years, yet he had made it this far. He sure lived up to his reputation. The greatest genius from the Eastern Baron territory, the Baron State, and the 9 states was like that no matter where he went. Furthermore, he would continue walking forward to create a history that belonged to him. The Swordmaster of Lihan, Yaya, Yuxing, Yiwuchen, Huang Zhouge, Wang Chuan, and the rest of the people who had been friends with Futian for many years looked at the figure in the sky. Their hearts were also overcome with emotion. Brother, there was a radiant smile in Long Linger's eyes. Her eyes were teary. She could not help it though she was not sad. Within the group of people from Brahma's pure sky, Hua Jiyu also had her gaze on the figure. There seemed to be a ripple in her eyes, but she quickly suppressed it. Her eyes once again turned cold and without emotion. Today, the Heavenly Mandate Academy has been officially created. We'll spread the great path in the Heavenly Mandate realm, Futian announced directly without any superfluous words. Lord Taishan will be the first guest minister of the Heavenly Mandate Academy. The Dragon Master, Golden Raven Demonic Lord, Divine Elephant Emperor, Master of the 10,000 Divine Mountain, and the Master of the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven make up the first batch of the Heavenly Mandate Academy's first guest ministers. The Sky River Great Elder will become the Dean of the Heavenly Mandate Academy. The hearts of everyone present shook. This arsenal seemed to consist of every top-notch faction in the Heavenly Mandate realm. The masters of the various factions made up the first batch of guest ministers, while the Sky River Great Elder took on the role of Dean. Every one of them was a figure with commanding influence. At this moment, a radiant ray of divine light descended from the skies. One figure floated down from the sky. Countless people looked toward the direction, only to see a terrifying pressure. The pressure had not been released deliberately. It was innate. The Dou clan of the Ziwei realm extends our congratulations, the person in front said with a bright voice. The Dou clan is willing to present 1,000 ancient techniques, 100 Renhuang-level ritual artifacts, 1,000 saint-level artifacts, 3 relics, 2 elders, 1 guest minister, and 100 disciples. However, the elders, guest ministers, and disciples are willing to accept the tests of the Heavenly Mandate Academy. Congratulations on the creation of the Heavenly Mandate Academy. The hearts of several people shook. What a generous gesture. The Dou clan of the Ziwei realm was the most influential faction in the Ziwei realm. They had come forward to congratulate Futian and present their gifts. Thank you for your gifts. Futian nodded with a smile. He did not hold back. He intended to accept everything, including the disciples. Another ray of divine light descended from the sky. Another group of figures flew down. The person in front was incredibly beautiful and charismatic. She was a lady with an extraordinary demeanor. She was dressed in a long black robe and looked like a queen. The goddess of the Shao clan from the Central Emperor realm brings along members of the Shao clan to extend our congratulations. A voice rang out. The hearts of many people shook. Was that lady the goddess of the Shao clan from the Central Emperor realm? Your disciple Shao Muyu pays her respects, Xiao Mu bowed toward Yi Futian with a smile on her face. A goddess as his disciple. Many people took a deep breath as they looked at Yi Futian. Was Yi Futian already that reputable in the other realms? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1696 The Overbearing Shen Clan. Chapter 1696 The Overbearing Shen Clan. Yi Futian nodded with a smile. He heard Xiao Muyu say, "To congratulate the creation of the Heavenly Mandate Academy, I, representing the Xiao clan, am giving you 3,000 ancient books, 100 Renhuang level ritual implements, 1,000 saint level ritual implements, and 5 of the ancient relics the Xiao clan had obtained in the past. As for the matters regarding the guest minister, elder, and the disciples that would come to learn, I'll discuss it with you later. Thank you for the Xiao clan's gifts, Mu. It's been hard on you." Yi Futian nodded and said, "The clan of the 7 Slayers of the Ziwei realm is here to extend our congratulations." Another voice rang out at this moment. The powerful fighters from the clan of the 7 Slayers descended from the sky. "The Yuanyang clan of the Central Emperor realm is here to extend our congratulations." The Yuanyang clan had also arrived. Yuan Hong personally led the group here. Yi Futian had hinted at him when the Xiao clan was conferring a goddess back then. Now that the Heavenly Mandate Academy had been set up, they were deliberating about whether to join the academy or not. "The Shangxiao Divine Palace of the Higher Heavens realm is here to extend our congratulations." Another batch of powerful fighters arrived. Several people had looks of shock. The Higher Heavens realm neighbored the Heavenly Mandate realm. The Shangxiao Divine Palace was a sacred place of cultivation in the Higher Heavens realm and had remarkable status. They had also come today. "The Yuiwei Divine Palace of the Shadow Realm is here to extend our congratulations." A crisp voice rang out. A group of figures appeared in the air. There were not many people in the group, and their faction seemed much weaker than the rest of the powerhouses. The person in front was unbelievably charismatic. Her aura did not pale in comparison to the goddess of the Xiao clan, Xiao Muyu. She might even have the upper hand in terms of appearance. She looked like a goddess from the Yuiwei Divine Palace. The goddess of the Yuiwei Divine Palace, Chang Shi, had come to witness the spectacle. She did not expect that many factions to pay Yi Futian their respects. Since that was the case, she also stepped forward to congratulate Yi Futian. "Thank you, Goddess Chang Shi." Yi Futian nodded with a smile. At this moment, several powerful fighters were standing in the air in front of the Heavenly Mandate Academy. It was quite a spectacular scene. Beneath them, the Heavenly Mandate City was engulfed with commotion as they looked up at the figures. The Heavenly Mandate Academy was created today. It was a festive occasion of an unparalleled scale. Factions from all over the 9 realms had come to congratulate Yi Futian. Furthermore, these factions were all powerhouses. How glorious was this scene! Was this the influence that the white-haired teen had? In reality, when Yi Futian brought along the powerful fighters to extinguish the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty and the Violet Heavenly Palace, countless people in the Heavenly Mandate realm could not understand why these powerhouses would lend him a helping hand. However, they only realized when they saw the spectacular scene before their eyes that Yi Futian's influence outside the 9 realms had already grown larger than his influence in the Heavenly Mandate realm. What exactly did Yi Futian do when the God's Relic opened last year? "Let's enter the academy," Yi Futian said. The people nodded and stepped forward. All of them entered the Heavenly Mandate Academy. Yi Futian looked at the crowd. He had wanted to say something when he suddenly saw a radiant ray of golden divine light coming from the horizon. The light let out an immense roar. Lord Taishan knitted his brows and raised his hand toward the golden divine light. In that instant, a giant palm appeared in the air and pushed directly toward the golden divine light. Boom! A loud noise was heard. The golden divine light scattered. The giant palm was also shattered. However, even so, a ray of golden light still managed to pierce through the air and drill itself into the ground of the Heavenly Mandate Academy. A loud sound accompanied the impact. A hole appeared within the Heavenly Mandate Academy. Who is it? Several people let out an unusual look. Who would dare to mess up this festive occasion? Who would dare to be this insolent? The rays of golden divine light covered the sky. Countless people looked up at the sky and felt their hearts shake. They saw that a golden throne had appeared in the sky. A figure was sitting on the throne and looking down at everyone. The figure looked like an almighty deity. Many figures appeared behind him. All of the figures were clad in golden armor and looked just like deities. The golden divine nation of the higher heaven realm, many people exclaimed. The animosity between Yi Futian and the golden divine nation was no longer a secret. Powerful fighters from the golden divine nation had also appeared when Yi Futian and his group were attacking the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. They had wanted to kill Yi Futian. However, they were unable to succeed as the forces Yi Futian had gathered to attack the Heavenly Mandate dynasty were too strong. Now that the Heavenly Mandate Academy was created, the king of the divine nation had come personally. He was a true powerhouse, a figure which stood at the very top. He still acted in such an arrogant manner even though many factions had come to congratulate Yi Futian today. He sat alone on the throne in the sky. Other than Lord Taishian, no one who came today could hold their own against the king of the golden divine nation. The king of the golden divine nation sat silently on the throne. He had a piercing gaze as he scanned through the crowd at the Heavenly Mandate Academy. He did not speak, but he had terrifying authority just by sitting there. Presently, everyone in the 9 supreme imperial realms knew about the animosity between Yi Futian and the golden divine nation. 2 of the king's sons had died by Yi Futian's hands. Now that Yi Futian was trying to set up a faction in the Heavenly Mandate realm, was he trying to retaliate against the golden divine nation in the future? These factions who were joining the Heavenly Mandate Academy today seemed to not fear the king at all. Today, the king displayed an attitude just by sitting there. If he did not fear the empty imperial palace, the king would have attacked Yi Futian directly. Yi Futian's gaze swept toward the figure in the air. He had a cold gaze. The king of the golden divine nation was posing a threat by sitting there. Yi Futian had no way to deal with him. Lord Taishian also glanced at the other party. However, the other party did not directly cause trouble. He merely sat in the sky above the Heavenly Mandate Academy. Great Elder, now that you left the Sky River Temple, do you intend on setting up a faction of your own? Another voice spread toward them. A group of spirited fighters appeared in the air. Their divine aura enveloped the air. It was incredibly terrifying. Who are these people? Many people from the Heavenly Mandate realm asked. Fighters from the Shun clan of the Central Emperor realm, someone said. It caused the hearts of countless people to tremble. They naturally had heard the name of the Shun clan. They were extremely overbearing. They were a superpower that stood at the top of the 9 supreme imperial realms. It looked like, despite Yi Futian's massive influence, he also had a considerable number of enemies. This golden divine nation and the Shun clan were extremely unhappy about the creation of the Heavenly Mandate Academy. Of course, this unhappiness was also a form of fear. In the past, not many people would think much about Yi Futian training in Futian Academy to avoid trouble. They allowed him to train there. However, no one expected him to engage in such terrifying actions after he left Futian Academy. He had become the overlord of the Heavenly Mandate realm. The 3 greatest factions of the Heavenly Mandate realm had been exterminated because of him. Even though the top-notch factions like the Golden Divine Nation and the Shun clan did not care about that, it did come across as a bad omen. The creation of the Heavenly Mandate Academy directly linked many influential factions together. It felt faintly like an alliance. This, to them, was clearly a bad thing. Especially when the Sky River Great Elder was the Dean of the Heavenly Mandate Academy. What would the Shun clan think about that? If the Heavenly Mandate Academy was to become sufficiently strong, would the Sky River Great Elder not make use of the might of the Heavenly Mandate Academy to attack the Shun clan? This posed a direct threat to the Shun clan. Yi Futian had finally been regarded heavily by the Shun clan. The more festive the occasion was today, the worse matters looked to the Shun clan. The saga back then had passed. I came to the Heavenly Mandate Academy today to help my disciples spread his path. The Sky River Great Elder looked up at the powerful fighters of the Shun clan and said. They had come as he expected. The Shun clan had not truly forgiven him. Great Elder, you should return to the Tianhe realm. This place does not suit you, a powerful fighter from the Shun clan said. His tone was calm and collected, but it felt exceptionally forceful. He wanted the Sky River Great Elder to leave. He did not allow him to take up the role of Dean of the Heavenly Mandate Academy. They could let the Sky River Great Elder off if he stayed silently at the Tianhe realm. However, they would not allow him to set up another faction. Furthermore, the magnificent parade of today's Heavenly Mandate Academy would pose a direct threat to the Shun clan in the future. Yi Futian was difficult to deal with. However, they would never allow the Sky River Great Elder to stay here. Is the Shun clan trying to control his freedom? Lord Taishin had a cold tone. He had not participated in the saga back then, nor could he have helped. Otherwise, he would also be implicated in the crisis. Today, the Shun clan was still being that overbearing. Yes, the person standing in front of the Shun clan's group replied. He looked toward Lord Taishin and said, Lord, this is a matter between the Shun clan and the Sky River Great Elder. We know that he is your old friend and we do respect you. However, you shouldn't interfere in this matter. Lord Taishin knitted his brows slightly. The Shun clan was as overbearing as always. However, the strength of the Shun clan was real. Even he, as he was today, could not fight against them directly. Furthermore, even if he disregarded the Shun clan, the king of the Golden Divine Nation, who was sitting on the throne in the sky, was also itching for a fight. If they were to erupt into conflict with the Shun clan, the Golden Divine Nation would not be polite and would join the battle. The king of the Golden Divine Nation had an extremely piercing gaze. He had expected the Shun clan to come. That was why he personally made a trip here. This was a threat. He wanted to see how confident the alliance of the Heavenly Mandate Academy was. Many top-notch factions had stepped forward to congratulate Yi Futian and would send disciples into the Heavenly Mandate Academy to train. It looked like they were about to form an alliance. However, the king wanted to see how stable the alliance would be. Could they step forward to resist the overbearing Shun clan for this matter? In actuality, several top-notch factions in the crowd had animosity with Yi Futian. For example, the Martial God clan from the Central Emperor realm, the Celestial Worthy Temple, as well as the Sky Reaching School. However, they had only come to witness the fanfare. Their animosity with Yi Futian was not deep, and they did not need to step out. With the Shun clan around, all they had to do was witness the spectacle. The atmosphere quickly became suppressed. The vast space felt a little silent. There was no longer the bustle of the past. However, several people were still silently asking about the situation. They had not fully understood the animosity between these factions. A powerful member from the Shao clan took a step forward. He had not spoken a word when a powerful fighter from the Shun clan interrupted him. I'll repeat myself. This is a matter between the Shun clan and the Sky River Great Elder. It has nothing to do with the other factions. It is best that the rest of the people do not interfere. They only targeted the Sky River Great Elder. However, in actuality, they were instilling fear within the Heavenly Mandate Academy. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.